Thank you for coming and such a wonderful welcome for H2O in Sydney. We're super excited at the day's proceedings. We have some incredible speakers who follow me. So my goal will be to introduce you to the core theme and culture of H2O and actually learn from you the culture that we can imbibe and make it even bigger. H2O started as a grassroots movement of mathematicians, physicists, domain experts, and a lot of real like brick by brick, it was built on every meetups like these, events like these. And when the first H2O World happened, it was a dream to have the world's best AI data scientists, grandmasters in the company. Today, we're home to 33 of them across the planet, many of them former number ones. More than 20,000 companies use our platform or open source. Reached Australia long before even I ever made my first trip. We're super thrilled at what reception we've gotten, both from our customers and our community here. So it's really an honor to be here to represent that incredible movement that's democratizing AI worldwide. It's such a privilege to introduce you to this incredible group of folks. Our grandmasters come from a lot of different continents, and we want to kind of make this. Today is the largest gathering of grandmasters in Australia, but of course we want to really spring the vibrant culture here so data science becomes a real force for transforming this nation and this place. And for that, we have the incredible partnership of our customers, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, and our speakers who follow after me will introduce you to how incredible transformation they're bringing for the banking system here. H2O is about 24 countries today, makers who've been powering the vision behind the company. But we would not be here without our customers and community. Thank you that we could meet in person. I was taking some pictures on stage earlier. It was super exciting because long gone are the days of Zoom and conferences online and not being able to meet the community in person. It's super exciting to be here. BC is before COVID, which means a lot of models we built before COVID are no longer valid. We need to rebuild them. The world has transformed in new ways. Let's start with 3 things to learn from a child. Never be idle, always be happy, and cry for what you want. Song, From Little Things, Big Things Emerge. We also thank Sydney in gratitude, makers both past, present, and future. A lot of the makers who built this company over the years have been coming from the community and the customers. And many of you who've heard of us through sheer word of mouth and are here present are impacting the journey of the company ahead. And I think in respect to all of that greatness, we respect the makers, both who are part of the community today and are going to be part of the future. But one of the true North Star for us has been our customers and community. And community's love has been the greatest force for us and we think that's still the greatest force in nature. We start with open source. Open source is about freedom and not just free. And I think what we've seen is that freedom spurred, being the first .ai domain, we've seen an incredible adoption of AI globally. And we are here to kind of put some of that invention right into your hands today so you can play with it. We want to raise an ecosystem, raise a forest, not just a tree. And for that, our partners who are going to be here and our community and the customers here, we're super excited to welcome them to stage later. Our customers, starting with our host, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, to AT&T, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, every payment system in the world today uses H2O to prevent fraud or to recommend or to make a better conversation with the customers. During pandemic, every package that was delivered used a machine learning algorithm powered by H2O to optimize driving. Supply chain disruption, both through the pandemic and through the war, used a lot of our platform. We're super excited to see how our core data scientists worked so closely with the healthcare systems during the pandemic, and the excitement after the pandemic when these providers like Kaiser Permanente or Bon Secours, Mercy Health, or Hackensack, New Jersey, came back asking for more of using algorithms to predict patient arrivals to length of stays and nurse staffing issues, improving their operations so you can optimize the providers. Likewise, drug discovery is beginning to use AI. These are all the new entrants to our space. Some of the best users of our platform actually truly democratize AI across their business units. It started with a center of excellence, but later on, embedding AI into the actual business day-to-day. So the best problems are being solved with AI. And in that co-creation with the business units and co-creation with partners like us is where the next generation of AI is going to thrive, with domain expertise as well as data science. One of the fun, or rather proud use case we've seen is when the war emerged and MasterCard had to make sure that all the Ukrainians who were trying to run their credit cards across the border needed to use credit. Our models were able to really detect and make sure there was not enough fraudulent use of their platform. We're seeing almost every day a new industry emerge into using AI. Most recently, we're seeing a lot of semiconductors and manufacturing use cases, trying to optimize what to build and what not to. Data is the new code, and you might have heard of this from before, but in the past, people who look at data come up with the rules to build applications. Today, algorithms are able to auto-generate much of the code that's going to power your applications. And I think that's the theme that you're going to see for the rest of the day. Several of our platform presentations will take you there. Let me start off with what do we mean by this? These days, H2O is accessible as an app store, right? Sort of how do you actually try to kind of use a platform that is at the core mathematical in nature and using data to produce, auto-generate a lot of the machine learning. Here's a very simple application I'll kick off. This is one of our customers in the manufacturing industry, Festo, built this model to start actually understanding how to get a world view of the entire factory floor, which engines are likely to fail. And I think the underlying models behind this is using automatic machine learning from our platform, driverless AI. And the model is predicting that in 200 days, this particular engine is likely to have a failure. About 100 days from ahead, all sensors look pretty sane. It's only right at the edge where all sensors are off the charts. You want to know what are the top 5 factors. Shapley values, that you can then present as a simple business-facing dashboard. This is using a low-code framework that we released called Wave. Our idea here is that over time, businesses will want to drive a lot of the applications using machine learning. But more importantly, the presentation skills of a data scientist are not going to be limited at a Jupyter notebook. Let me show one of the new engines that we are super excited about, Hydrogen Torch. Hydrogen Torch is bringing to deep learning what we brought to machine learning. And here, I mean, obviously, powerful use cases across object identification to something more fun. How is one of our customers came to us and say, post-COVID, what's fashion going to look like, right? And since most of us were not privy to being out and about, let's see if I can. And so object identification becomes really interesting. And most of this is real time, so customers can actually start understanding what is the future trends. And in-store supply chain inventory management becomes really quite important. Similarly, looking at large amounts of customer data and summarizing that to a simple sentiment to even what is he really trying to convey. So text summarization. Again, what Hydrogen Torch is doing is taking pre-trained models and then bringing them to bear by transfer learning on the local corpus. So probably actually launch is a very simple problem here for us. Amazon reviews. It's a text classification problem, and we're able to pull in not just the local backbone, local models, but the backbone of all the models, whether from Hugging Face or other places. And then if you're a novice, you can start very simple. And if you're advanced, you can go deep and start building. The idea is that we want to reduce the time it takes for you to understand what's happening with the most latest in deep learning. Hydrogen Torch started as a core innovation from our Kaggle Grandmasters, who've been solving problems in speech, audio, video, and NLP. Here's the model that one of our Kaggle Grandmasters built around audio classification. Again, something you want to understand, something you want to kind of apply for a call center optimization or sentiment in a short form voice message. Audio, video, and documents are going to be the front end of a lot of the new data that the world is seeing. Let's take a little bit of a fun use case here. We found that customers are beginning to understand some of the large supply chains are interested in how much of different types of trucks are on the road. Like Coke is interested in how many Pepsi trucks are on the road, and Pepsi likewise interested in how many Coke trucks are on the road. Again, trying to understand real time how traffic has recovered post-COVID. Again, most of these models have been built to kind of truly bring not just machine learning, but even kind of the latest developments in different pre-trained models to your local corpus. Let me jump to use case here that's more present and local. Team looked at one of the Kaggle competition for COTS. Crown of the Thorns swordfish is actually one of the fastest. It eats about 90% of our coral reef right here in Great Barrier. What you're seeing here, oops. just. Sure, Okta is going to be literally, well, at least you know it's secure. So this is a popular contest, and one of the biggest dangers we have for the Great Barrier Reef is actually that the crownfish is beginning to, so detecting crownfish very early is going to be super important for saving the Great Barrier Reef. And it's turned out to be a very good Kaggle contest eventually, and I think our grandmasters have managed to build a model that I think came second in the contest. I think CSIRO was also one of the participants in that. Where the model is actually wrong is actually just as important as where the model is right, because it allows you to retrain the model and make it better. We also ran a wildfire prediction model for bushfires and wildfires. And I think you'll see some of detecting smoke is one of the use cases here. One of the contests we ran during the COVID, and we would love to rerun it here, is actually for the wildfire and bushfire challenge. H2O has been quite privileged to be able to recruit the crowd, so to the crowds of incredible data scientists to start building models that can actually help save the planet. This is actually one of the contestants who ended up predicting smoke in real-time video and using Target. We want to rerun this contest, and we hope to see a lot of audience here participate. Hopefully we can bring the latest thinking from the local universities here and the people to make this even better. One other, let me just start with one of the power. Almost everything we have done now is integrated into a Kubernetized environment. So you can actually use these different engines, Hydrogen Torch, driverless AI, which you're used to seeing, and then document AI, which I'm going to introduce you. Because documents have become one of the most powerful source of data, most prolific source of data across. AutoML has truly come of age. Over the years, our customers are beginning to see automatic machine learning truly drive a lot of the business. You'll see from the talks that are following quite a few of that use cases that are powering both underwriting here or transaction abuse. But I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of our customers have now gotten 10x the value from their data scientists on a pretty much daily basis. Let me pull up it's one of the, I think I've heard nothing but really great stories about Australian summers. But of course, here we are with still rain almost threatening to be at the event. So trying to predict rain today. Of course, it is a time series problem. Which we need to group by location. I'm sure many of you have seen driverless AI in the past, but this is a very useful way of figuring out all the various various ways to pick the right methods, right recipes. But what our team is now beginning to understand is how do you simplify it even further. So I'll launch a second test here about using the wizard. So for new data scientists who are trying to use our platform, we're able to now bring in a much more easy wizard. And you'll see that this actually tries to truly democratize this a little further. We try to make it as simple as a TurboTax wizard. So hopefully this will allow you to kind of build models even more easily. This is the home pricing use case. All right. Again, trying to essentially build much of the intelligence that our best data scientists have, the core innovators behind the team, behind driverless, have tried to kind of make it really easy for you to build a model and then start training and build really good models without having to kind of know exactly much about your data set. We'll try and see if the wizard is doing any better than the manual experiment. In the main, I think our continued focus to democratize AI, where in the hands of even analysts, hopefully one day, we're able to build really rich models. I think since it rains so often, it shouldn't be very hard to predict rain today. And rain today is, of course, humidity at 9 a.m. has the maximum impact, and is it a cold day, warm day, or a cold day? So I think the variables look reasonable. But driverless AI continues to improve, try to make it even more further democratized. One of the models we built with our one of our partners in the US, AT&T, actually tries to kind of, here we're using telephone pole data to see if we can predict flooding. I think one of the powerful aspects of that is we actually ended up using a rich a recipe specifically. The grandmasters came up with a model that was almost on par, or actually better than a powerful than a powerful supercomputer. The key insight that the data scientists found was that in 4-hour windows, you could potentially bring, and running that across multiple days at a time, AT&T flooding transformer, got them the right outcome. Predicting hurricanes using and flooding data of poles has significant potential for saving lives. And I think this is just the beginning of much more work we can bring together. I think we have an experiment that's previously run. I'm going to just click that and then jump into the rest of the presentation. Seems like the one launched in the morning is still on its way here. As it turns out, I mean, the time, precipitation over the course of many days is kind of one of the key aspect there. I want to kind of unpack what we mean by data as code. For every model that we build, we auto-generate a lot of the code that comes from the model. That generated code becomes a pipeline that pipeline is how we are building applications. Some of our customers have taken this to the next level, right? In trying to build those models, they've then tried to kind of roll out apps, applications, and truly bringing AI as a service across their whole organization. Here's an example. Between AutoML, open source H2O, trying to kind of create collaborative competitions within the kind of the business lines. So you can start building great models, competing against each other, create that leaderboards, and then take that model to the next place through Wave or Nitro, and then build that app store, model store, feature store to connect back the feedback loop. And I think that is kind of where the real magic starts to happen, is where you start sharing what has the best of and the worst of different models, different experiments. I think being able to tell stories through them, that's kind of where the next phase is. We really want to bring much of this to different users. That's an example of how AT&T did it. And we think that we can bring this to much of our customers to truly power organization-wide transformation. Some of these models at AT&T have saved billions of dollars in preventing fraud for stealing iPhones or helping them improve their network operations. This is kind of where bringing the teams together, but how do you bring different dimensions across your business, from design, data, domain, to algorithms and business closely, and make them work together makes a huge difference. We think that organization-wide transformation involves real protection of brand and community with data. And it needs a data ecosystem across the organization, across the whole. And Australia is a very unique space for us and for data scientists at large, because with 30 million people, we can actually truly start building really rich data ecosystem across their usage. I want to take one more stab at trying to bring us to where we are seeing a lot of data these days. A lot of data these days is coming from documents. And I think that's a place where we're going to see a lot more of innovation powering our customers, or helping our customers. Document AI has quite literally come out of the woodworks, if you will, through our partnership with PwC over the years, trying to help them with bank statements and bank reconciliation statements. But a large part of documents, NLP, has really come together in the last 18 months. So if there's some massive transformation that has happened to space, it is ability to kind of truly bring pre-trained models, as well as semi-automatic labeling, and then semi-automatic ontology. Bringing that ability to bring that consistent labeling, consistent, I would say, where the model is wrong, if you can go back and retrain that ontology, and then build a model locally right here, and then score it against millions of documents. That's been quite a big transformation for the space, and as well as our customers. We think that with this, we could actually bring orders of magnitude optimization and speed for businesses. As it turns out, most of these are sample data sets. So as it turns out, a lot of unstructured data, especially in terms of documents, can bring, if we can bring 98% accuracy to reading documents, we can truly get past some of the data challenges and data supply chain challenges we're seeing for our customers. Stay tuned for a talk from Mark Landry later today, who's been powering a lot of this work here. Again, it's a very intuitive user experience built with a lot of pre-trained models that are continuously being improved as each of our users, each of our customers are powering different use cases. We think this will bring some level of generalization to a space that has been historically very, very template-based or brittle around the use cases. A lot of our customers, we understand, have spent a lot of time trying to label data and try to bring this kind of a lot of work that otherwise would have basically been better spent. So we think that this is truly going to transform experience for our customers across different business lines. The users for Document AI are likely to come from quite different portions of the business. So we'll have to kind of work with our teams to make sure we can roll out these use cases for your businesses. Nurse staffing is a very popular use case for our customers, and we're beginning to see how we can bring some of that ability to read resumes and match traveling nurses with the right kind of hospitals. So use case here. UCSF deployed this more recently in trying to match patients to the right physicians as well. Let me unpack some of the other powerful use cases we're seeing. Obviously, AI is a force multiplier it started as marketing in the early days to price optimization. Almost every one of my customers are looking to improve pricing. In the retail bank, we've seen both from fraud prevention to real-time targeting to kind of understanding credit scores, risk. Our long-term thinking here is that co-creation with our customer is going to be at the heart of how we're going to roll out truly powerful use cases. And I think AI, as it matures from being a algorithm-based to AutoML-based to several engines and apps-based, will find its real value in solutions. And I think that's the place where we see a lot more of pre-trained apps, solutions, and co-creation with customers at the kind of the tip of the spear. App stores, AI-first model stores, AI-first feature stores are going to be the true ways customers are going to experience the core innovation from AI. So we are seeking a lot of those partnerships with our customers. But I think as you think about embedding AI into your apps and microservices, that's going to be where a lot of the using AI and data as assets, truly assets for your business is going to be where transformation is going to come from. Video as data and speech as data, a lot of calls up, we looked at Hydrogen Torch. A lot of the customers are beginning to see orders of magnitude value in trying to use video and audio as data. Let me see if I can pull up a use case that it was a puzzle that was thrown at our team with the Math Science Research Organization. Try to get the the evolution of data science as a whole is moving from being the Jupyter notebooks and code and applications to being able to tell very powerful stories. And we think that data scientists of today are going to be the strategy scientists of the future. A lot of our customers are going to truly start seeing the rise of the data scientist, from data to strategy, and the CDAO of most of our customers are working very, very closely with the chief executive officers and powering that real decision-making at their businesses. We see a world where in 2030, almost all Fortune 500 companies will be led by a data scientist, or being strategy is maintained by a data scientist. So you can see a lot more of the evolution of the role of the data scientists as we see today to be one more strategic, because as you apply your science, you start and automate much of the workflows, you start seeing the rise of the data scientist. To bring real transformation, many of our customers are starting to kind of bring that kind of core collaboration with business units, and that's going to be at the heart of this transformation for our customers. Let me open up a few thoughts on that. We think that every company needs to be an AI company, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. We think that every nation needs to be an AI nation as well. And that starts with upskilling a lot of the universities here with data science, with AI, and ability to kind of collaborate very closely with the public sector. One of the key pieces we learned during COVID is that we can't bring this change through pure commercial private sector itself. And that's where trying to work very closely with NGOs. You'll see a talk later today on how AI can protect wildlife, or improving the pandemic supply chain, pandemic proofing supply chain, and trying to bring more of democratization for health, water. Water is a huge resource that's led to a lot of wars, as well as biodiversity challenges. Education, I think a lot of our customers in public sector beginning to deploy AI to upskill their public services, and then try to localize a lot of the knowledge that needs to go into it. Responsible AI and ability to understand why machine learning is making the decisions making is super keen and important. A lot of our customers typically want to kind of explain and tell a story from the model. As most of us know, once the data science leaves once data leaves the data scientist, it's really being able to tell a powerful story that drives business. We hope, as grandparents, we'll be telling only stories. And most of us know that all models are wrong, some models are useful. In fact, one of our models was predicting a very close match last night, but we ended up seeing the victory of the stronger team. But with enough eyes, when we talk about models being wrong, all models have biases, and bias is very cultural. And of course, being able to fix the blind spots of the models with more data is super important. But with enough eyes, all bias is shallow. And we think, just like open source made a lot of software better, I think bringing a lot of the open review and transparency across will bring a lot of stability to the responsible AI space. We have to use AI to check AI and validate, and that makes AI more robust. There's an incredible panel this afternoon on responsible AI. We think that we need to build a Center for Responsible AI. We've started building a real consortium of global banks, global telcos, as well as academic and public sector policymakers to try to bring that center that brings general best practices. Our teams have worked with NIST to set some of the standards and define what disparate decision making can mean, and start bringing real explainability to this space. Equity and inclusion is super important to make AI truly serve the purpose of what it can. In the main, I think what we would love to see is that true collaboration with the community here. We started the company to democratize health, and that remains at the heart. Over the last couple of years, we've really seen a real rise in healthcare customers as well as community. But AI is really data science at heart. Data science is search for the truth. And search for truth starts with trying to give light where there is darkness. We think that the data is actually plural of datum. It is to give, and to impart energy as transformation. And I think what we have found is that after exploring all the different ends, we, ends in data, we still come back to the main question, which is how do we look at data as if we're looking at it for the first time. It's with great gratitude I welcome you to H2O World Sydney, and this is just the beginning of so much more we can do together. All of this starts with one big word that started many years ago. All this was a dream where we really wanted a true collaboration with our customers. And that's what you see today in display, where our customers are going to talk about various ways they're beginning to use AI and make their organizations AI first. We'd love for you to kind of try our offerings and see, give your feedback. Feedback is gold, and we will not be able to listen without being silent. And I think we're super keen today to learn from your experiences on AI. It's with a lot of gratitude I welcome you to H2O World and all the feedback that you could bring to us. Thank you.